Singapore is often celebrated for its low official tax rates, balanced budgets, and prudent fiscal management. On the surface, the numbers are impressive: corporate tax at 17%, personal income tax peaking at 24%. But beneath this polished exterior lies a complex web of hidden fiscal mechanisms. Instead of relying mainly on direct taxes, Singapore channels much of its revenue through compulsory savings, consumption levies, and regulated charges. Central Provident Fund, or CPF, is a prime example, requiring up to 37% of wages to be set aside, reducing take-home pay for workers. Add to this the goods and services tax (GST), which has climbed from 3% to 9%, and the certificate of entitlement (COE) system for car ownership, and you begin to see a different picture. These are not called taxes, but they function as such, shaping daily life and household budget. This scene sets the stage for understanding how Singapore's fiscal model, while efficient, may not be as light on the average citizen as it appears. Let's dive deeper into the concept of implicit taxes. Unlike explicit taxes, which are clearly labeled and collected, implicit taxes are embedded in policies that reduce disposable income without being called a tax. In Singapore, these include mandatory CPF contributions, broad-based GST on nearly all goods and services, and regulatory charges like COE and ERP tolls. The average worker, this means a significant portion of income is locked away or spent on unavoidable fees. The impact is especially pronounced for lower and middle-income households, who spend a larger share of their earnings on consumption and essentials. Economists estimate that when you add up all these compulsory payments, the effective fiscal burden on a median worker can rival or even exceed that of many Western welfare states. Yet the benefits received, such as social protection and direct transfers, remain modest by comparison. This structure emerged from Singapore's need to attract investment, maintain fiscal discipline, and encourage self-reliance, but it also creates a system where citizens may underestimate how much they truly contribute. Central Provident Fund is often described as a system of forced savings for retirement, housing, and healthcare, but in practice it operates much like a payroll tax. Participation is mandatory, contributions are substantial, and withdrawals are tightly regulated. While the CPF has enabled near-universal home ownership and provided a stable pool of capital for national development, it also restricts liquidity for individuals. Many Singaporeans find that much of their CPF is consumed by housing costs, leaving less for retirement. The interest paid on CPF balances is generally below market returns, with the difference benefiting the state. Critics like Liang Shihayan argue that the spread is a hidden transfer from workers to the public sector. International comparisons show that despite high contribution rates, Singapore's guaranteed retirement benefits are among the lowest. The CPF system, while stabilizing the economy and funding growth, blurs the line between personal savings and public finance, raising questions about transparency, adequacy, and fairness. Beyond CPF, Singapore's fiscal system relies heavily on consumption-based levies. The GST, now at 9%, is applied broadly, making it a significant source of revenue. However, because it is a flat-rate tax, it takes a larger bite out of lower-income households who spend most of their earnings on essentials. Offsets like GST vouchers help, but often only partially. COE system, meanwhile, turns car ownership into a luxury, with premiums exceeding $120,000 for some vehicles. These mechanisms are not labeled as taxes, but they function as powerful fiscal tools, raising revenue, shaping behavior, and rationing access to goods. Compared to countries with higher direct taxes but generous welfare, Singapore's model delivers minimal redistribution. The result is a society where the cost of participation, housing, mobility, consumption is high, and the sense of fairness is often questioned. Compared to Nordic countries, Singapore's social spending is strikingly low. While Sweden, Denmark, and Finland invest a quarter or more of their GDP in universal benefits, Singapore spends less than 10%, much of it conditional and means-tested. The result is a system that encourages thrift but also anxiety. Citizens save not just out of prudence but out of fear of falling through the cracks. Social compact in Singapore is built on trust and stewardship rather than redistribution. Yet as costs rise and benefits remain modest, this trust is being tested, especially among younger generations. Calls for greater transparency, more equitable redistribution, and a recalibration of the fiscal model are growing louder. The challenge ahead is to balance fiscal discipline with social fairness, ensuring that Singapore's prosperity is shared more broadly and visibly.